a city full of crime, and I'm the only thing that's keeping this city from not doing any more crimes, because I am the Luchador. You may have heard of me. I'm kind of a big deal. Yeah. It's on days like this that I think back on the day I was truly born. The Luchador was born. I remember it like it was yesterday. Flashback sequence. It was a dark and stormy night, and I was a young lad of 35 when I saw it. My great-grand-uncle, twice removed, dead in the street, murdered. I cried out in anger. How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes. I pleaded for the ambulance to stop. I begged them. I begged them to help my uncle, my grand-uncle twice removed. I begged, and I begged, but nothing happened. They told me he was dead. They could do nothing. There was nothing they could do. And on that day, I swore that I would have vengeance.
This job sucks.
I would have vengeance for my great-grand-uncle twice removed. I spent the next month or so training with the best martial artists in ever. I learned all sorts of cool moves, like the super kick, counter strike, and the ball kick, and also the knee in the face, also the behind punch. And before I knew it, I was the best fighter ever. I was the best fighter. I had become the greatest fighter in all of the land. And I punched everyone, but I was kicked out because I was so violent. I was then sent to go train with some monks because, well, monks are cool and they're at inner peace and all that. So I was sent there to make sure my anger didn't get the better of me. There I was taught the best move ever. I was taught the forbidden attack. The justice punch. Kick. I became the best monk ever, because all of the other monks, they feared me, because I became so powerful. It even got to a point where I just stole from them. Like, just one day I just went on a rampage. I tried to prove myself as the best monk ever, and I fought all of them. Of course the cops then showed up, and, you know, had to escape and all that. It was an awkward experience, to say the least. I was on the run. I had nowhere else to go. I kept on running. There was nothing I could do. They were after me. I decided, why are these cops so intent on chasing after me? I was just training with my monk buddies. So then it hit me. These guys, they're crooked. They must have been some of the same cops that attacked my uncle twice removed. So at this moment, I decided I needed to fight them with all my... Well, it didn't really go well, 'cause turns out I couldn't beat up a bunch of cops unarmed, so I ended up getting gunned down and then serving like 12 months in prison or something, I don't know. It was a weird experience, but at this moment I knew I had to fight against the system. I had to become a vigilante. I decided to become a vigilante, and I went around fighting crime, you know, talking to people and all that. But then I saw him, a man in a straw hat. It was at this moment I knew this man must be responsible. So I grabbed him. I held him up and asked him where the man who killed my uncle was. He told me that it was someone called Jerry. I told him that as a vigilante I was gonna beat you up now. And so I did that. And, well, I caused a big ol' stir, so I decided that it's probably not a good idea to go after the man who killed my granduncle twice removed in a getup like this. So I knew I had to get a costume that would strike fear into the hearts of criminals. A costume that would show everyone that justice is here, and no injustice shall get past me. My mouth waters at the sound of such a magnificent costume. So, I put on the costume, and I became Hat-Man. Danger to all criminals. I decided to become the one thing I feared. A guy with a straw hat. And then I saw him right there. I was so angry, I had to tackle him. I was so angry, I kept on yelling at him, "How could you do this? How could you do this to my uncle? My uncle." He was beating me. I didn't know what to do. I decided I needed to use my secret technique. Forgive me, Sensei. Forgive me! Gosh, that punch! And there he was. Dead. I stepped on his groin a little bit just to make sure he was dead. It was finally over. I had avenged my great-granduncle twice removed. But at what cost? At what cost? I looked at myself. I had become the one thing I had sworn to destroy. A man with a very dumb hat. I didn't know what to do. But I mean, first things first, I had to go beat up some other people I found. You know. So, I didn't know what to do. I looked off into the sea for maybe some answers. And I jumped. But, you know, I forgot that I'm actually really buoyant. And for some reason my clothes got so wet that I decided to take them off. And I floated here. I didn't know what here was until I walked in. I walked in to find the most lavishly fancy place I'd ever seen. All these people smoking. How despicable. But then, I saw there was someone that was that wanted some gambling, so, you know, I spent the next 16 years of my life gambling in a game that I didn't even really actually know how to play. No joke, I actually didn't know how to play. I just kept on throwing cards all over the place. I didn't know how to play. It was kind of embarrassing for me, especially since, you know, I wasn't wearing any clothes whenever I gambled, so yeah.
Not your night.
But after 16 years straight of gambling, I had enough. I realized something. These guys are criminals. I gotta take them out. Look at all these criminals. Ha! I decided, who needs a costume when you've got sweet justice? You think you can beat me? I am the justice of this city.
What's going on?
Ha! Yeah, kicking walls. These people, they don't deserve to live. Yeah. So I decided I would be a better superhero. The best superhero. The best superhero this city has ever gotten. And from that point on, I became the Luchador! Defender of this city. Killer of criminals, I mean, beater-upper of criminals. I don't kill, I just beat up. I became the greatest superhero that there ever was. Even though the corrupt police may try to catch me, I will always be the Luchador! So, yep, that's my backstory. It's not much, but it's my backstory. So, yeah, I'm the Luchador. And that was my backstory. Yes. The Luchador forever!